The story of 17-year-old Brian Cullen is a jarring wake-up call. A healthy, athletic teen and devoted cheerleader, she began secretly using disposable vapes at 14 to cope with anxiety. Anxiety, ironically, that arose from the instability of post-pandemic school life. Like many teens, she didn't broadcast her vaping. Her mother had no idea. The habit was hidden, but its effects weren't. Just 4 months ago, she was rushed to the emergency room after struggling to breathe during cheerleading practice. The diagnosis: popcorn lung, a disease that scars and inflames the lung's smallest airways, causing lifelong damage. In severe cases, patients may require a lung transplant. It is not reversible. It does not heal. And it could strike without warning. This is not some vague theoretical hazard. This is a confirmed case of permanent respiratory injury in a minor, a child, from a vape she bought for $25. This kind of damage is not the slow burn decline associated with traditional smoking over decades. This is fast, violent, and irreversible. She is now dependent on steroids and an inhaler to help her breathe. Her long-term prognosis is uncertain. She may need a transplant. She will need lifelong medical supervision. And she is not alone. Hospital admissions for vape-related lung problems are climbing, especially among adolescents. This is not the exception. It's the shape of a growing trend. Despite mounting evidence, public messaging continues to soft-pedal the threat. We are told that vaping is safer than smoking, that it helps people quit, that it's just flavored air with a little nicotine. But this is a fantasy. Vapes are chemical cocktails, sometimes unregulated, sometimes adulterated, and often containing compounds that, when inhaled, cause immense internal damage. Diacetyl, the chemical most closely associated with popcorn lung, has been banned in the UK, but it is still present in some US e-cigarette liquids. And diacetyl is just one of many hazardous substances potentially inhaled with each puff. The list includes volatile organic compounds, heavy metals, and other toxicants whose long-term effects are still poorly understood. There is no way to justify the idea that this is safe for developing lungs. We are witnessing a generation of children being misled into addiction. The products are marketed like candy, colorful packaging, sweet flavors, cartoon aesthetics, and sold openly in shops that rarely ask for ID. Many teens pick up the habit because it's trendy, accessible, and perceived as harmless. But behind the pastel colors and sugary scents is a system designed to exploit their curiosity, hook their biology, and monetize their illness. This is not a public health compromise, it is a moral failure. And it's only getting worse. Rates of teen vaping continue to rise. 1 in 4 children have tried vaping. 1 in 10 vape regularly. Among 16 to 17-year-olds, that number climbs even higher. And we're seeing consequences: fainting, vomiting green fluid, lung collapse, and now permanent disease. Some children have even required hospitalization at ages as young as 4. These are not isolated cases. These are signs of a system unraveling. And unless swift, drastic action is taken, we will see more children with irreversible damage. More families blindsided by diagnoses they can't fix. More headlines that read like obituaries. This is not just about nicotine. It's about what we've allowed to become normalized. A child can walk into a vape shop and buy a chemical inhalation device that may permanently destroy their lungs, and we call that freedom. Meanwhile, parents are left scrambling to understand what happened, to pick up the pieces, and to warn others with the limited tools they have. It shouldn't take a child almost dying for adults to pay attention. We cannot afford to wait for more research. We already have enough. We have enough to know that irreversible lung damage is happening. Enough to know that regulation is being outpaced by industry. Enough to know that too many young people are being fed misinformation and silence. The parallels to the early days of cigarette smoking are chilling. Corporate profit prioritized over human health, and the truth buried beneath decades of delay. This time, we don't have the luxury of decades. The damage is happening in real time to the most vulnerable among us. Vaping is not a harmless trend. It is not a lesser evil. It is a gateway to lifelong respiratory illness, addiction, and possibly death. If we fail to respond with urgency, with clear-headed regulation, with outright bans on flavor disposables, with education that confronts children and parents with the truth, then the next Brian Cullen won't be an outlier. She'll be a common case. And when that day comes, the moral cost of our inaction will be measured not in headlines, but in graves.